We all want to be successful in life. However, we are obsessed with a definition of success that doesn't reflect our own. After all, money, prestige, and power should be what everyone wants, right? Then again, how many successful people are happy? Jay Shetty is a successful man. He is an influencer and social media superstar. But the reason he is successful is that he is living out his dharma, a concept that combines passion, purpose, and service to the world. This truth is something Shetty knows because he learned it living as a monk in India for 3 years. Returning to the modern world with its complex intricacies, Shetty has found a way to live his dharma despite not having any marketable skills. Through this book, he shares the various lessons he learned as a monk. We don't have to renounce all material things to think like a monk, but we can all incorporate those lessons into our lives. By reading this book, you can become a better person to yourself and all others. Have you ever noticed that you behave differently when you're with different people? This is because our identity is influenced by what we think others think of us. Unfortunately, when we try to improve ourselves, we aren't going by what is right for us. Instead, we try to become the ideal image that we think others have of us. It is only natural that we want to become what others see as good. We are influenced by the voices of what surrounds us, like our parents, friends, education, and media. However, we can never be happy chasing that impossible goal. To become truly happy, we must look inwards and assess our values, letting them guide us instead. To do this, we have to detach ourselves from the noise of the world around us. By looking at what we spend most of our time doing, we can find the values that motivate us to do. From there, we can know what means the most to us and work towards adding more of it to our lives. We are plagued by negativity. Not only do we voice it about others, but we also do it to ourselves. This is highly counterproductive as it stops us from doing the real work of improving ourselves. It puts us and other people down and infects our days with bad energy that we don't want. Negativity is born from a threat to our needs. We're afraid bad things will happen and we will lose our peace. We're afraid that we aren't loved, and we're afraid that people don't respect or understand us. It sucks when something doesn't go our way, but taking on the mentality of a victim doesn't solve any problems. Instead, it makes us feel like the world is against us. We must let go of the pain from the past. We can do this by forgiving those who have wronged us. In this way, along with limiting the time spent with negative people and increasing interactions with those we enjoy talking to, we can become less negative. Life is full of uncertainty, and that translates into a lot of things to be fearful of. But fear is just an upgrade from negativity and stresses us out even more. There are potential benefits to this fear because it can give us the awareness to make decisions that are in line with our values and purpose. Think deeply about what scares you. Why are you afraid of this thing? Keep going deeper to find the true cause. Most of the time, we are afraid that we will lose what we have or lose control. One way to cut off this fear is via detachment. We have to accept the temporary nature of things and realize that most of what we own doesn't matter. When this happens, we have less to fear. By understanding your fears, you can arm yourself with the knowledge of how you can grow from it. Essentially, we are most scared of what we might gain. We do things for different reasons. Most of what we do can be attributed to these 4 motivations: fear, desire, duty, and love. Fear is not sustainable, while desire can blind us to what we truly want and need in life. Duty and love have much more to offer to our beings. One way to live better is by understanding our intentions. Just because it's selfish doesn't mean that an intention is inherently bad. There are things we need to survive and to feel safe. However, it is important not to be misled by them, because external goals cannot fill internal voids. Humans are faced with change every day. It is the only constant in our lives. That's why it's understandable that we are afraid of change. Nevertheless, we have to live our intentions without letting this fear overwhelm us. We want to improve, but sometimes we don't get there so easily. When we do things with intention, we are reminded that we are on a journey and we can get better as we go. Dharma is a concept that can be boiled down to a combination of 3 things: passion, expertise, and usefulness. When we live our dharma, we feel fulfilled. You don't need to be anyone or anything else. Your job or even your ideal job may require you to have skills or an outlook that you don't have. By forcing yourself into that role, you're making yourself feel bad. But your dharma is already within you. It represents what you most value. Understanding dharma also frees you from envy and the need to be more than you are. It may take time to discover your dharma, but when you do, don't be afraid if you think you've found the wrong one. We make mistakes and we can stand on to learn from them. But once you've hit gold, never let it go. Setting up a routine can help you to use your time and effort purposefully. When you program your body into following a routine, you limit the time wasted on making decisions and being distracted. That said, routines shouldn't become boring and mind-numbing. You must look for new joys in the same activities, which can be done by putting your full effort into the things that you do. If you feel like you don't have enough time for anything, try waking up early. This is a time that's for you only, without any restrictions or obligations. Before sleep, decide on the things you want to accomplish the next day. Visualize the day as you want it to go, but don't put all your expectations on things going your way. Imagine how it will feel going about your activities as you plan them. When you go about your day, ease your body into the rhythm that you set. Do everything with intent and focus. Make sure that the time and place where you do things are suited to you. We rely on our minds to make good decisions and chart out our life. Unfortunately, the mind is easily distracted and can become too caught up in irrelevant things to get us where we want to go. Therefore, we have to train our minds to better work towards our purpose. Besides being distracted by various input received by our five senses, the mind also processes countless thoughts every day. We need to cultivate a mind that can handle all this with discipline. Think of your brain as having two parts, a child's mind and a parent's mind. They need to be able to compromise, and sometimes you can't be too harsh either. Remember, you are not your thoughts. We tend to hold ourselves back. This is true, but perhaps in more ways than you think. The Bhagavad Gita tells us that there is the true ego, which is our consciousness, and the false ego, which is an identity that preserves the sense of our superiority. This ego is the stumbling block. There is a huge difference between ego and good self-esteem. The ego pits you against everyone, certain that you are the best. Self-esteem appreciates your strengths but knows your weaknesses while wishing everyone else growth and good fortune. The ego will project your insecurities onto others, making the purest intentions seem wicked. It makes everything into a competition where the winner can only be you, when in truth you lose most of all. When we can accept failure and not blame it on external forces, we can try again to achieve success. The ego is not one that can accept this, because when things don't pan out, it is crushed. Even if you have not succeeded in your goals, you must cultivate the mindset that you are still on the journey. You should never be made to feel small because of difficulties, but know that your goals are much bigger than who you are. You have probably been told to count your blessings more times than you've done it. Before you write this off as simply an oft-repeated platitude, know that being grateful has real scientific benefits to your health. Beyond that, being grateful for what you have received can inspire kindness. You can become a better person by embracing gratitude. However, it can be hard to turn gratitude into everyday practice. This is especially true when things go wrong in your life. You can think of missed opportunities as more windows to the future. After all, you don't know what will come next. It can also open your mind to other chances for change. You can also enhance your gratitude by giving your time to charitable services. One of the best ways you can improve your relationship with anyone is by viewing the entire world as equal to you. There are times when we may be hurt when people don't return the care and attention that we give them. But similarly, there are those whose efforts we don't reciprocate either. It is impossible to expect an individual to fulfill all the requirements that we want from them. You may trust someone because they are either competent, care for you, have a strong character, or are consistent, or a combination of the four. However, they cannot be all four. Be realistic about what you can expect of others. When spending time with others, it isn't the quantity that matters, but the quality. As such, we should prioritize giving those we care for our all when we can, rather than half measures whenever we can squeeze in the time. When it comes to love, it pays to understand what efforts speak loudest to your partner. We all want to be happy, and one way to do that is to live a life that is full of purpose. The best way to inject meaning into your life is by serving others. Fulfilling our own needs is necessary but is meaningless beyond our survival. It is only in helping others that we can find true purpose. Contrary as it may seem, no rule says that we have to have something to be able to give it. In life, we may never have enough. If we wait until we do to help others, we will never do it. It is necessary to serve with intention, otherwise, you are just going through the motions. No matter how much you give, there will always be a greater purpose to serve. When you see pain and suffering, follow the voice within to lessen it, because this suffering belongs to all of us. All the lessons imparted in this book can be better internalized and utilized through meditation. It helps if you can immerse yourself in this to gain a better foundation before going off on your own. A long exposure beforehand is necessary before you can progress to smaller periods in your day and still get a benefit out of it. A basic way to meditate is by getting comfortable in a quiet space. Close your eyes and lower your gaze. Focus on your body or your breath or your thoughts. If you find yourself wandering from your purpose, gently nudge yourself back. Do not berate or judge yourself for the lapse in concentration.